Alrighty guys, so Max Tech Toy Box here. As you guys saw, that was just the video unboxing of the new 5th generation Fossil smartwatch, the Fossil Gen 5. This here is the Juliana HR Black Stainless Steel Edition. As you guys can see with the little gold metal trimming. So first things first, let's just go and talk about specs. So this is running the latest Wear OS operating system. Of course, it does have the Qualcomm Snapdragon Wear 3100 processor. It's 44 millimeters. It does have a heart rate monitor on the back. They don't really specify or release any information regarding the heart rate monitor, which I wish they did. As this is supposed to be a fitness track, I wish there was just more information regarding how many LEDs is in here. I couldn't find any, or there's nothing listed on the website. Sorry, let me just close out these notifications. Actually, I think I'm going to put this in airplane mode so that I'm not getting blown up with a bunch of notifications. So let me see. Okay, now it's in airplane mode. Okay, so of course it does have Bluetooth. I think it has Bluetooth 4.2. No, actually, I thought that this had Bluetooth 5.0. Nope, this is Bluetooth 4.2. Okay, it does have Wi-Fi 802.11b GN built in. What else? Heart rate monitor, as I said, this does have a speaker. That's supposed to be a major selling point here for Fossil, that this one has a speaker so you can take phone calls and listen to music. Being realistic, I don't know if that's much of a selling point, but hey, it's there. We'll get to more information about that later. Does have NFC for Google Play. It is swim proof, I think up to 50 meters. Does have untethered GPS, which is good. Am I missing anything? 8 gigabytes of ROM, so downloadable storage, 1 gigabyte of RAM. And I think that that's all of the pretty big things in terms of specs. So the 1 gigabyte of RAM is pretty good. Almost all Wear OS watches, I think besides the Mont Blanc Summit, all had 512 megabytes of RAM. So this 1 gigabyte of RAM is pretty good. And I will say, in my usage, it has helped a lot. I've had next to no lag. There's still been some stutters, but that's more on the operating system. It's not really lag, it's more so like just some broken parts in the operating system, unfortunately. But the 1 gigabyte of RAM is pretty good. 8 gigabytes of downloadable storage is good for apps and music, of course, so that's good. And I think that that helps to future-proof you a little bit more. So I like that they did do that. So here on the right side, you do have your back button. It's not a select, but back and rotating crown. So you can hit this to go to apps, scroll through your apps, which is good. Then you do have these 2 programmable dials so that you can select, select different applications or things that you want to launch. This does, since it's Fossil, has a couple of different battery modes. I think right now I have mine set to custom, but there's 3 different battery modes. The main one they say will get you through a day. If you go over, so we'll tap it so you can see. Daily is day, of course, for the day. Extended is supposed to get you 2 days. Custom is whatever you want. And then time only, of course, is time only. We'll talk about that in a second. 44 millimeter case, as I said. Hot swappable 22 millimeter watch bands. As you guys can see, this is, take that off. This is the original band that came with it. I'm a little bit more active, so I did switch this out. Yeah, so I think that that's all of the basics. So now I'm going to go ahead, and I have been using this watch for about a week and some change. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts, final thoughts and review. So pros, this is a very nice looking watch. I do like the way it looks. Fossil does do a really good job. And I'm going to go ahead and set this right here during the review. And I'm going to go ahead and charge it since I'm going to be talking for a little bit of time. So this is another thing, it does have fast charging. So hopefully I'll be able to do this review in one shot. As you guys can see, it is 850, has 29% battery. So I'm going to show you guys how fast it does charge, since that is something that they are sort of advertising. So let's see, 850, 29%. I do have this connected to the computer, so this is not connected to like a fast charger, but it is what it is. So again, pros, this is a very nice looking watch, good build. Fossil does really good. in engineering and designing their smartwatches. So that is something that I do like. I like these swappable straps. They're pretty easy. So really quickly, take this off. I'll show you guys how easy it is to take a watch band off. Just pull that off, pull it off. And let's say if I wanted to put this one on, this one here, and I am doing this from behind the camera, so a little bit more difficult, but boom, done. So fairly easy to do. So again, I do like these swappable wrist bands. Also, this does have, it's not really continuous heart rate monitoring. It checks, it's like it does a background check of the heart rate, and that's more so of what the operating system allows through Google Fit, but it checks it like every 5 minutes. So that's nice. The speaker, so now you can answer phone calls on the watch because of the speaker, and of course you can listen to music down from the wrist. The tilt to weight function is greatly improved from what it was before with Wear OS, and I think that that really has to do with that 1 GB of RAM. That 512 megabytes is just really was slowing things down to a crawl. So that is much improved there. Like I said, the 1 GB of RAM makes things a lot smoother in comparison to the previous generations. I've had no lag. Google Pay is nice. NFC tap to pay, cool. You know, it is what it is. It's not an amazing feature, at least to me, because I mean, I'm pretty much using Samsung Pay with my phone for everything, and we're not at the point where we can just have our watches substitute for our phones. So I'm using Samsung Pay more because of the MST software. Standalone GPS is pretty good and fairly accurate. It didn't take a bunch of time for me to locate myself when I went running. I think on average it was around 15 to 20 seconds. So pretty good. I think the fastest that I've ever had is the Apple Watch, and that's really not fast. It's just because Apple doesn't show you that it's trying to find your GPS. So it just says start, and then you start running. And what they do is they actually tag your phone's GPS, and then in the meantime, it's sort of picking up GPS signal as you're running. And then they have some sort of algorithm to where once you disconnect with the phone, it figures out where you are based off of your GPS from the watch, and then it takes it from there. So very weird algorithm, but it works, and it's not user facing. So all I know, when you pick up the watch and you have an Apple Watch, you just start and you run, and you have spot on GPS. So kudos to Apple for making that work and making it super user friendly and not having to stand and wait for your GPS signal to be acquired. Like I said, pretty good on here, but not the best. Swim proof up to 50 meters, like I said. 8 GB of storage for music. That's great. More storage, the better. It helps to future-proof this. It's not just for music, but it's also for apps. So I like that Fossil is thinking in the future and thinking about, just making this more future-proof. And also the rotating bezel for navigation. That's something else that I really like, which is part of the build quality. Alrighty, so other things that I like, and this more so has stuff to do with updates to Wear OS. So now you do have the tiles feature, which is cool. So you can swipe over to the right. Sometimes it doesn't like to do this. It's not lag, but it's because it's connected to the charger. So when it's charging, it knows that it's not supposed to be used. So watch, I'll disconnect from here just so you guys can see. Swipe over and everything works. So you have tiles now where you can just go ahead and swipe over for information, which is cool. So you have information at a glance, and it's easier than swiping up for information. So I like the new updates to Wear OS. It does make things a bit more user-friendly and more intuitive. Actually, it's fairly reminiscent of sort of what Samsung has been doing with Tizen, where you sort of just swipe left and right to go through different applications or different widgets. So I like that. One major thing that I really want to give Google kudos to is finally you have the ability to connect Bluetooth sensors to the watch for recording heart rate during workouts. Yes, yes, and yes. I'm so surprised that this was not like a bigger deal. This is huge. It's very, for anybody that's really into fitness tracking and working out, you know how important it is to track your heart rate data. And a lot of these wrist-based OLED systems, they're just not as good. Your heart rate monitoring from a chest strap is just going to be better. So the Apple Watch has had it for some time. It's still not on the Galaxy Watch series. There's like some weird workarounds for you to get to it. And finally, Google supplied that update, I think in December or January. And it was like a update that no one knew about. I had to go on forums and I found out about it. It was actually after I purchased the watch and I was using it, and then somehow I ran across this weird forum where they said that you could do it. And just to show you guys, so this is actually going to be a fairly bad example of how fast this charges, since I keep taking it off the charger. But you just go into Google Fit like this, scroll down, you go to settings, scroll all the way down, and right there, Bluetooth sensors. Okay. Right now, of course, I have this in airplane mode. Now, one thing we'll talk about that. Right now, we're only focusing on the pros. Okay. So kudos to Google for allowing users and fitness junkies to have the ability to attach or Bluetooth sensors to the watch for reading more accurate heart rates during workouts. Google Assistant on the watch, that's a pro. It always will be for notifications, being able to respond to things with your voice. Google's voice to text is, when it works, when you can reach Google, is next to none. It's just amazing. Like I said, it works. It's great. Being able to have Google Assistant for your reminders, appointments, being able to activate different smart scenes if you have a Google Home, works from the watch seamlessly. So Google Assistant on the watch, great. Standalone GPS is great. The battery modes, they do help to improve battery life marginally. Like I said, notifications on the wrist, awesome. Text to speech is great. And of course, you can answer the calls on the watch. So now, cons, because everything can't be great. So it takes forever for Bluetooth sensors to connect. Okay. Now, more recently, I don't think that I got an update, but the last day or so, it's actually connected fairly well. But I do have some recorded footage to where it just would not find my heart rate monitor, and I thought maybe that it just had to do with my particular heart rate monitor as to why it wasn't working. But I tried 2 different heart rate monitors and the same thing was happening. Like I said, as of recently, that has not been the case. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and try and connect now live on camera so you guys can see sort of what the status quo is now. Okay, so I have my Wahoo Ticker heart rate monitor, chest strap monitor that I'm going to connect here. But first, before I do that, I got to take this out of out of airplane mode. Hopefully I don't get a bunch of notifications on here. So I took it out of airplane mode. Cool. Trying to do all this from behind the screen. Sorry, guys. So just whatever. Okay, that's that. So I'm going to go ahead and put this around. Okay, as we speak. So I just put this around my chest. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the watch. Going to scroll over to Google Fit. Tap here, go down, settings, scroll all the way down, Bluetooth sensors, scanning, boom, and it found it. Add sensor, yes. Okay. And there we go. So it works. Now, what I have been doing, we'll come back to this just to make sure that everything is working. But what I have had the most success with, I've noticed, is after I use it, I delete it. If I delete the sensor and then come back, so if I delete the sensor, let's say I just worked out, and after I worked out, I delete the sensor. Then tomorrow I go for another workout and I just re-add the sensor. It seems to connect a lot faster. But I'm gonna go ahead and take off the heart rate monitor now because I'm not using it, and then I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to delete it from here and see if it will connect fast or not later on in the video. So just took the heart rate monitor off and I'll just set it over there. Okay, cool. So I don't know if I can necessarily say that that's a con, because now it's working and it's working seamlessly and it's fast. So like I said, I don't know if I got an update or what, but now it is working a lot better. Another thing for the GPS, again, same sort of thing. Initially, it was fairly spotty with how long it took to find my location. As of late, it's been less than 15 seconds, but I just have to throw that out there. I don't know if I got an update or what happened, but just stating it. Another thing, answering phone calls on this thing, the speaker, I have seen so many different posts on the internet and forums. It's some sort of bug, like everything is glitchy. You'll receive a phone call and if somebody's talking through there and they're saying hello, it'll sound like this. Hello, hey, what are you? It sounds like that. Like, I don't know what's going on. I think a user contacted Fossil and they said, like, suggested powering down the device until they can get some sort of patch to fix it, which is not really the best workaround. But yeah, so that's the thing. So this does have a 90-day return period. So if you want to wait around for some sort of security patches or just an update that will fix some things, you still have some time to do it before you can return the watch, which is good. So I guess that's a pro, and that's more so on Fossil's side. Next thing, battery is pretty bad. Now again, I'm going to say this. Today, the battery was better. Usually, okay, so this is pretty much how things have worked for me. I do wear this at night to track my sleep. I use a Sleep As Android to track my sleep. I wake up in the morning, I throw it on the charger, brush my teeth, get ready, and then I go for a run. So in that time, because it does charge fairly fast, I'll get, I don't know, whatever percentage that I'm coming from. I'll go for my run, I'll come back, throw it on the charger again, take my shower, get prepared for work, and then leave. By the time I leave, I'm usually at around 100%. And this is around, let's say 7:30, 7:45 a.m. By 5 p.m. on average, I've been around 40%. And then I'll work out after that. And then my workouts are usually probably about 45 minutes. Then I'll come home and then I'll have to charge the watch again because it'll be at like 15-20%. Now, the depletion in that battery will depend on whether or not I'm just using the watch just for fitness tracking from a workout, or if I'm also using it to play music directly from the watch. Of course, that's going to drain the battery more. But either way, by the time I reach home from work and after working out, I have to put it on the charger again. I'll charge the watch till 100%, then put it on my wrist and go to sleep. So right now, I just explained to you a scenario, my daily use, where I'm putting it on the charger when I wake up, when I come back from working out, when I come back from work and working out. So I'm putting it on the charger 3 times a day. And that's not under the daily battery mode. That's under the extended, which is supposed to get you 2 days. That's pretty bad, man. I mean, that's doing with the Garmin Forerunner 645. I never have to do that. That thing lasts like at least 3 to 4 days, especially depending on how many times I'm working out and how often I'm using that GPS. The more you work out, obviously, the less time the battery will last. But if I'm not, I can get through maybe 5 days easily. But routinely, because I'm working out so often, I'll get about 3 to 4 days. So not even getting a full day on battery is crazy. And I don't think that has anything to do with Fossil and the watch itself. I think that that's just Wear OS. It's power hungry, and they really need to find ways to sort of manage that. It's Wear OS, and then of course that Snapdragon processor. I don't know. So battery, if you're somebody who's a workout person, you work out a lot, and you're definitely gonna have to charge this a lot more times than you normally would. Now, I will say today was a little bit different because I only worked out once. But in the morning I woke up, threw it on the charger, went for my run, threw it on the charger again. And then it's now 9 o'clock, and you guys saw when this started, my battery was around 29%, I think. So not bad, I guess, but at the same time, I didn't work out again. And then either way, before I go to sleep, I'm still going to have to charge it because I'm going to use this to track my sleep at night. So battery is definitely the worst part, and that just continues to be the issue. Even with my review for the Generation 4, I think my Misfit Vapor 2, the original Misfit, like that's just been the biggest issue with Wear OS. I think the Polar M400 was the only watch that got really good battery life. And then that I sort of just had to get rid of because of the 512 megabytes of RAM. If that had more RAM, then that pretty much seems to have been the most solid device to date. But the design was a little bit lacking. Anyways, let me get back to this review. So, like I said, battery's horrendous. There's no built-in sleep tracking. So I'm using Sleep As, which is a application that you can use to track your sleep. I download the application to the watch and the phone, of course, and then you have to manually start tracking from the watch in order to track your sleep. That's pretty ridiculous. No other fitness tracker do you have to do that. Not on the Samsung Galaxy Watch, the Galaxy Watch Active, Garmin Runner, the Fitbit Versa, the Garmin Vivo Active. Wear OS is the only, even the Apple Watch. Apple Watch doesn't have a built-in sleep tracker, but you can download an app, and when you go to sleep, it will automatically start tracking your sleep. There's no other major competing operating system for smartwatches, and it's supposed to be a smart tracker and fitness-focused tracker where you have to manually start your sleep. That's a little asinine, especially in 2019, and that should really be built into Google Fit. So I'm hoping and praying. I have a feeling that there's a corner that's coming, and there's going to be some big changes to Wear OS and things like that. But again, let me not go off on a tangent talking about that. And Wear OS is still, it's not buggy because of that 1 GB of RAM. I have had no lag, but there are certain, well, I guess there's no lag, but there's still some small bugs. For example, there will be times when you're going through different screens. Let's see if I can get it to pop up now. Go back. But let's say if I go here, and then I go to this screen, and let's say guided breathing. Well, no, because that's actually, go to settings, and it's not gonna happen now. But it'll freeze up, and it won't allow me to scroll, but I can go back. Once I go back, that freeze stops. So it's like a bug in the application where it thinks, and so this is sort of hard to explain because it's not happening now. But imagine I hit settings, right? And then I go to this next screen. But imagine this screen here showed the previous screen, okay? And then when I tap activity goals, it's actually going to think that I'm tapping guided breathing, if that makes sense. It's a weird bug, and it does it fairly consistently, but of course it's not going to do it now during the review video time. But a fairly consistent bug, and that's the only issue that I've had with Wear OS in terms of buggy features. Okay. Let's see. Next up, another con, Google's first party apps are just not there. This is a Wear OS device, and Google, for example, this the biggest thing right here, and actually the only way that you can download and listen to music from this watch is by using Play Music. There's no other app that allows you to do that. Spotify and Pandora both are just sort of allow you to go to the next track, play, fast forward, reverse, pause, things of that nature. The only application where you can download music is Play Music, and Play Music's application is so bad. It's just not intuitive at all. So I'll go ahead and show you guys, and I think that I've done this before in other videos. Open up the application. It's not as buggy, or rather it moves a lot faster, and that's because of that 1 GB of RAM, but it takes forever to download. See, like right now, it's stuck on this screen. It thinks that I'm on the previous screen. If I slide over, or maybe, see? So now it goes away, but you saw I thought I was on that previous screen, so it just stayed there. The way that you download music is just not it's intuitive to just hit albums, of course, and then hit the download button. But I have a lot of music, so so I can scroll all the way to the bottom of this. It's not going to be all of the albums that I have in my library. So it's an ABC order. What if there's an album that starts with a Z that I want to download? It's not going to get there. So I'll show you guys so you can tell I'm not lying. So it stops at cash flow. So what if I wanted to download KOD by J. Cole? I can't. And then if I go to my recent activity, it's not always accurate in terms of what's recent. And then you see here, it's saying that this basically denotes that it's downloading music. Got a new notification. So it's saying that it's downloading music. I selected music to be downloaded since yesterday, and it's still not done. So how is it that the only way that I can listen to music, Google, is through Google Play Music, and your application is still on the fritz? I really want to you get 8 GB of ROM to download stuff, and you can't even utilize it because you can't download all the music that you want to download. Very, very frustrating. So I guess I should have probably said all of my negatives in the beginning so then I could have talked about the positives, so then that this review would sound a bit better, but I didn't. Since we're at the tail end of the review, I'm gonna put this back on, so we'll see if it's still going to find the fitness tracker as fast. So I'll go over, tap there, let's go all the way down, settings. It's gonna do this because it thinks it's charging. Scroll all the way down, Bluetooth sensors. Oh, and it found it. There must have been an update that was pushed, and I'm gonna show the footage. Actually, this video will be edited so that I probably already showed the footage, but it would take forever, and I was literally losing like 10 to 15 minutes in the gym trying to get this thing to connect to the heart rate monitor. But yeah, whatever happened. I guess some sort of update was pushing, so now it's moving better. So overall, the biggest issue with this watch, surprisingly, is, or not surprisingly, but it's where Google steps in, and that's the software. It's a beautiful watch, aesthetically speaking, it looks great. It has all of the hardware that is required for this to be a pretty decent smartwatch, besides maybe that Snapdragon Wear 3100 processor, which is a bit dated, but it is what it is. Everything else, the 1 GB of RAM, the 8 GB of storage, swim-proof Google Pay for NFC contactless payments, standalone GPS, the speaker, microphone. The only thing that it needs in terms of hardware that might be better would be a bigger battery. But I think that optimizations to the operating system would actually help with that. But the only thing that makes it so that I don't know if I can keep this is pretty much the battery, and that has to do with the software. I really like working out. Since I like working out, I like to make sure that my data is pretty, I guess you could say, specific, or I want to make sure that the readings that I'm getting are accurate. So I like the fact that I can connect a heart rate monitor to my watch so that I can get more specifics about calorie burn and things of that nature. So I like that they added that. That's great. I like actionable notifications. I like being able to respond to notifications from my wrist. I like being able to talk to my watch and tell it to do things. The speaker is another fail, I guess you could say, but I think that might just have to do with software. I think that that's something that they can fix, that Fossil will be able to fix. So yeah, the only problems I'm having are like the little small bugs, and then Google's first-party apps, and that all has to do with, Wear OS. The battery could be better, Google Play Music could be better, and like I said, I think that an update may have been pushed so that now GPS is better. So this is Max Tech Toy Box signing off. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. I hope I was able to give you guys a fairly thorough review and answer any and all questions that you may have had that I had going into getting this device. Should you buy this device? Maybe. I think that we're right on the cusp of the release of quite a few more Wear OS smartwatches. I know that Misfit Vapor X just came out. I might do a review on that. The Misfit Vapor 2, but did poorly. I like the way the Vapor X looks, so I might do a review on that. We'll see. Also, Google did purchase some sort of proprietary software engineering from Fossil at the beginning of this year, and that's supposed to revolutionize smartwatches. They purchased that and they've been mum on it, and nobody said anything. So I have a feeling that there's going to be some sort of Pixel watch, and that when Google has their Pixel event in around October, that they will announce. So I'm a little excited about that. The Galaxy Watch Active 2 was just recently announced. I'm definitely going to get my hands on that and do a review. Pretty much, if that watch allows for the connection of Bluetooth sensors, I think that would probably be my daily driver, but we shall see. It doesn't have Google Assistant on it though, which is unfortunate. But so should you buy this watch? Maybe, yes, if you don't mind putting your phone on the charger, your watch on the charger multiple times throughout the day. If you're not going to work out multiple times throughout the day, yeah, I think it's a solid watch. And the good thing is that the improvements that can be made, I think, can come from the operating system side of things. The bad thing about that is Wear OS has been around for quite some time, and the iterations have been marginal at best in terms of improving things. Good iterations and good improvements, but still not the best. Okay, so again, hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Please leave them down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video review. Stay safe, guys.